Hey everyone, hope you're having an awesome day. Welcome to Agents Who Win, our coaching Mondays with Daniel Betancourt and Todd Schroth. We're excited to be here. It's an awesome week. We get to enjoy a week of Florida rain.
Yes, summer's in full swing. That means a lot of rain, but also the real estate market's been on fire. I mean, it's been like next level fire. So it's been on fire for months. Now it's like fire on top of fire.
So today we wanted to come to you with the topic, snitches end up in ditches. I mean, actually, no, niches in the riches. Everyone's trying to figure out where we find our business, where to get business and all that stuff. And, I just thought a good topic is, find your niche or find your lane of where you want to go. And there's probably 188 different niches you can do in real estate, but we wanted to focus on 6 today.
187 niches.
I forgot the referrals can be, you can have 6 or 7 different kinds of referral programs going on.
Right. Yes. So it's awesome to have a niche. It's awesome to be the go-to person for an area in real estate. And not only is that attractive to the customers looking in that niche, but also you'll earn tons of referrals from agents out there who, they may not be comfortable with that niche and they will refer it out to you because they see you as the authority in that niche. And, it's great because you can market that nationwide. So we're going to get started. Number one's probably a niche that every agent either aspires to be in or would love to be in. That's the luxury niche, luxury real estate.
Luxury properties are a true specialty. Whether it's you're selling LA for $3 million to $80 million, or Orlando, where luxury for us is like 800 plus, or super luxury, I guess you can call it, when you get the $22 million listings here with the celebrities.
Right. People watch the TV shows, looks all glamorous, but what they don't always realize is it takes a lot of spending on marketing. The marketing's got to be off the chain. And if you're doing that super luxury, you've got a small literal handful of buyers out there that can afford those prices. So to get those homes in front of those folks, it takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of money, but definitely can be done. So luxury, obviously the commission checks on those have some extra zeros, which is always nice, but that's one niche that you can shoot for and aspire to be and learn about. There's tons of luxury property coaching, and there's tons of books on luxury as a niche.
Yeah, you've got to learn how to find the client. If you're not in that market, you've got to get in that market, whatever the niche is, and especially in the luxury side. Nowadays, as an example, in our market here, you spend, what do you think you're going to spend? $10, $20, $30, $40,000 sometimes marketing one of those properties. And, Shaquille O'Neal is selling his place in Orlando. I think it's still for sale, and it's on the third agent. And, 28 million, next agent gets it at 25 million. The next one's at 19 million. So it's like you got to think about what those first 2 agents spent. It was cool to get that listing, but hey, you got to sell it now.
That was probably his strategy all along, start high, get, 5 different agents to spend their $50,000 budget on marketing his house, and then just keep working down the line until, so yes.
Find one guy who didn't have to spend anything who could get it sold because the others did their job for him.
Yeah. I'm gonna be calling Shaq soon.
Yeah, we'll get him on the show for real estate advice on marketing. Second one, which is what I think a lot of people in the beginning should look out for, is first-time buyers. And first-time buyers is a great niche because they're what your business can be built on, because first-time buyers become first-time sellers.
Right. So on the opposite side of the spectrum from, ultra luxury, the first-time buyer niche, that's a niche, kind of an easy niche to fall into, especially for agents that are getting into the real estate business, because when you're a first-time buyer, you don't have lofty expectations from your real estate agent. You're a first-time buyer. So anyone who just passed a real estate license has a ton more knowledge about real estate than a first-time buyer does. So they see anyone who can pass a real estate exam as an authority. So it's great when you can work with someone who looks up to you, trusts you. It makes you feel appreciated as an agent, even as a newer agent. So a lot of times it's a younger crowd, but not all the time. So it's just a perfect mix, a perfect setup, perfect recipe for a new agent, first-time home buyer as a niche.
One thing you can get with the first-time home buyers is in a designation called the ABR, which is the Accredited Buyer's Representative. and it'll teach you a lot about how to work with buyers and be successful with them. We also want to connect on the down payment assistance side, work with the lenders to find out what kind of programs are out there for the first-time buyers as well, because they are the ones who are going to be frustrated and not move forward after writing 3 or 4 offers, especially in this market, not getting accepted. So you need to know how to get them into the properties. Of course, they need to figure out how to get with the least amount of money down as well.
Yes, what's great about first-time home buyers also, like you were alluding to earlier, you stay in touch with these people from the very beginning, and they're going to be move-up buyers. Every few years, they're going to be, for the most part, moving up. So they're great people to add to your sphere of influence and your buyer pool. And as you grow as a real estate agent, they'll be growing with you. And so you can set yourself up for multiple transactions with those folks over the years.
Number 3, people 20 years later that we've sold their first homes to. So it's definitely a good.
And it's an awesome feeling. This happened not too long ago. I had a buyer who I sold a home, for $100,000 back, real estate market crash. And then she sold her house, I think it was 5 years to the day, almost the same day we closed. And she was a first-time home buyer. And then we sold her house for like $230 or something like that. She doubled her money and helped her buy her second home. So she was ecstatic, and she was like 22 years old when I helped her buy her first home. So as a 25-year-old, she bought a nice, beautiful new home with, $100,000 of equity. And that was a few years ago. So now she's in an even much better place, and she's still not even 30 years old yet.
Yeah, it's great to be able to have those stories. So number 3, real estate investors. That's how I got my business started, was working on my investor network. I came into this as a real estate investor, and, you find your niche or where you're coming from and work that. And that mine was the investor pool.
Real estate investors can be awesome contacts to have, because if you help someone who buys fixer-uppers on a regular basis and they've got the funds to do that, you can bring them properties, they'll buy them. If you do a great job for them and they like you, trust you, they'll also hire you to list, a flip home. So you can do multiple transactions with an investor customer. I would say you just have to kind of tread lightly and choose your investors wisely, because some of them will also look for agents that'll just do all kinds of grunt work for them. And, they're trying to have you find some kind of a needle in a haystack transaction, which is, who wouldn't buy a house for 50 cents on the dollar? But you've got these investors out there that are like, I'm looking for homes 50 cents on the dollar. So if you can find that for me, I'll buy them all up. And good luck trying to find those and being profitable in your real estate business, because so you don't want to, I would just say, choose your investors wisely. Choose the ones that actually buy deals, flip them, and they trust you to sell them with you as well.
Where I got, obviously we did, all sorts of stuff on the investor side, but for us, I like to be on the listing side of that business. And, if you're doing enough volume with somebody, your normal commissions, just say it's 6%, you do it at 4.5% for them because you're doing a lot of volume. Again, do your own math, do your own numbers. But if you have something where you have the continuous business from somebody, then, that's a great scenario to be in, because you're going to pull buyers off those listings as well. And the way to find those guys to get the listing side is go to the investor networks. Like we have Central Florida Real Estate Investors in Orlando, or Craigslist, or just Facebook, or hit the investment groups on Facebook as well. But if you can get to the listing side, because as Daniel said, it is hard to find the buyers, or hard to find the properties, and you will run yourself ragged trying to do that.
Yeah, my favorite investor buyer is the novice investor. That's not looking for a 50 cents on the dollar type of home to buy. But one way to get investors over to you, if you look on the MLS right now under REO or bank-owned foreclosure homes, there's going to be some in your MLS, no matter where you are. And so you can start pumping out ads out there on social media or on your LinkedIn, just advertising that you have a free list of foreclosures that you'd like to share to anyone who's interested in investing. And lots of people like to see that list of foreclosures. And when I joined, when I started full-time in real estate, I was part-time for a while, but when I got started full-time, I used to run those ads, and that got me my first several deals. That was 2008. So, the market was kind of, foreclosures were starting to be everywhere at the time. But I did a ton of transactions in that first year that were mostly people who wanted to buy these foreclosure opportunities for investment purposes. So
great way to get started back then. So vacation homes, if you're like, again, Orlando, another market for vacation properties. If you're looking at Disney or other areas, you find the short-term rentals or Airbnbs. We've got 2 agents that are in our network of Airbnb specialists, and that's all they do. They'll take any house and turn it into an Airbnb. Again, that's really any market, but you look, Orlando has got a variation of markets that you can play to for the short-term rentals.
Florida, lots of different states have this vacation home. Now that Airbnb is popular and VRBO, Florida, we've got all, because we're a peninsula, so we've got coasts everywhere. There's always coastal homes that are vacation homes. Of course, Disney World, like you mentioned, but Georgia has the mountains. They also have a coast. All of these states have their own vacation home community. So that's another one where agents nationwide, they can explore whether vacation homes is a profitable niche for your business.
Yeah, if you're in the city, that's become the Airbnb and VRBO specialist. If you're in like Chicago or somewhere, it's not a vacation destination, where you have like resort type communities, become that short-term rental person like Airbnb and just know the markets, know the areas where people can buy those and sell those, and post, hey, you can get this for the night, but know the management, know the rules in the background.
One way to get attracted to that industry is rent one of these vacation homes in a certain area and really get that experience.
Yeah.
Because once you do that, you'll say, wow, I see why this is so big, and it'll get you excited about working that niche.
Yeah, definitely. Next one, relocations. That's a big one because with all the corporate reloads going on right now, or actually not, let's back up. The lack of corporate reload going on right now is, the people wanting to move out of the other states because they can all work at home. That's a relocation market. California and New York is all moving to Florida, so figure out how to get into those markets. Or if you are in corporate relo, getting with the companies that have the relocation departments.
Right. So relocation specialist is a good niche for some years. I thought, aren't all realtors relocation specialists? Like, we're helping people relocate. But for people who don't, if you're an agent and you're wondering what does a relocation special, what makes them different from any other realtor, I would say that you have a systematized process for someone who is buying in your area, and they're moving from out of town. So you might connect them with movers. You might connect them with short-term rental properties while their property is being constructed. You have a better knowledge of the school system. You just have a systematized process that you can help this person from A to Z as someone not knowing much about the area that they're moving into, where most real estate agents, are happy to show you homes and do that typical job, but they don't have a process and they don't have all those resources and connections usually to make a relocation from out of state to in-state seamless.
And that's certain companies will have relocation designations as well if they're connected with corporate America. They're going to want you to have that information before they're going to put you in front of the relocation directors. But know the areas, specialize in the schools and all that stuff. That will help you get there. Have relocation packages together. So if someone says, hey, we're moving to Florida, boom, it's in the mail or it's in an email campaign to them.
Right.
So you can see what's there.
Number 6 on the list is the last one on our list today. This is military buyers. So this is a great niche if you live in a military area with a lot of military housing. Anywhere where there's an Air Force base, naval base, any kind of base that's military, there's a lot of turnover because these military folks, they get stationed for a certain amount of years and then they leave, and a lot of them want to build equity while they're in that town, so they buy homes. Sometimes they keep them as investment properties when they leave town. Sometimes they want to sell. So this is an awesome niche. A lot of those families also, they're getting relocated all the time. They're looking online for agents that know what they're doing and know what they're talking about. So this is a great niche to have. If you're establishing a YouTube channel, you can talk a lot about this niche. And when the buyers are looking and researching, they're going to find you on YouTube, and you're going to be the resource that knows all about this town where they're thinking about moving to, and you're going to be the go-to person. So that's an awesome niche.
Whether you're military or not, or you're a military spouse, I see a lot of the spouses get their license and just work the people that are coming in and transferring. One of our agents or 2 of our people are in military here, and one of them actually just helped the relocation buyer come down because of the military connection, because he's the recruiter. Other one, it's like, if you are military, use that as your background, and you'll be able to connect with the Marine, any sort of service that's there, and it's a way to pay back to them.
A lot of times you have that trust level there also, someone who's in the military, there's that camaraderie right off the bat that you shouldn't necessarily have to earn. You've earned it by being in the military and serving your country. So
Daniel,
yeah.
oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, these are 6 awesome niches that, or niches, if you want to pronounce it the French way.
The riches are in the niches.
The riches are in the niches, and sneeches get stitches.
Yes, there we go.
So these are awesome ones, and if you'd like to learn more about these, we'd love to help you out. Or if you have some other ideas for niches, speak to us, and we'd love to discuss those with you as well.
So we got a little bonus round. I've got a comment on LinkedIn. Any advice to new agents who want to do listings instead of buyers? So let's throw some off the cuff stuff out there for agents who want to do listings instead of buyers.
So did the person say they're new to real estate?
Didn't say they're new, just advice to new agents. So I'm assuming they're new.
Okay, so advice to a new agent that wants to specialize in listings instead of buyers. And this is a common sentiment right now because a lot of buyers are having trouble securing homes. Homes are having multiple offers. So the buyer's agents are getting weary and tired of showing a million homes before they get one under contract. So in order to generate some listings, I would say you have to have some processes in place to communicate valuable information to sellers. You can have a newsletter. First of all, you have a sphere of influence. So you want to organize that sphere of influence if you haven't already. And then you want to communicate with that sphere of influence on a regular basis. And I would recommend on video. And I would recommend that the communication that you give out on video, you're specifically speaking to sellers. You're talking to them about the market. You're talking to them about how you can help them. You're talking to them about equity. You have a system in place for a lot of sellers right now are hesitant to sell because they're afraid they won't be able to find a home. So you have to have a system in place to ease all of those worries and concerns, and they will reach out to you. And you also have to have a way to help people with their buyer needs. So if you're not going to be that agent who helps them with on the buy side, you're going to have to partner with an agent who's going to work with the buyers or, refer them out. Or if you're not a team leader, create a team and have some agents that are willing to work those buyers.
So I love that. And, one of the things I always say to people is, social media is one of the best ways to find listings. Go inside of Facebook groups, talk about your realtor. Hopefully you have some buyers as well, because listers will last, but buyers are liars. But at the same time, the buyers turn into listings, and use your buyers that you have right now to find listings. Potentially go in Facebook groups, say, hey, I've got 4 buyers right now that are looking for blah, blah, blah. And then you'll have people reach out to you that say they're thinking of selling. It's a one way to find, call it hidden listings. But also, if you're brand new, you have no sales, this is a we business, not an I business, the way I like to call it. The broker owns all of our business and all of our listings. So ask the broker, hey, can I market John and Sally's listings they just sold and look what we just did. And again, get permission from John and Sally and the broker to do this, but talk about what we just did. Have a landing page that's through your company portal or something where the leads can come back to you. Post that through social media on a weekly basis. Run just sold cards in a community to try and get listings to show what's sold. Have the right disclaimers on there as well, that they're not your listings. They belong to MLS, but it's a market neighborhood update. So that'll be some direct mail ways, or even run that stuff in the neighborhood groups as well. And
geographic circle prospecting. So
yeah,
around recent sales, call those folks, have conversations with them. There's 1,000 or more videos on YouTube on good scripts for circle prospecting. But if you call a neighborhood where some recent high sales have happened and communicate to those sellers and give them that bit of information. As you make calls, some of those sellers are going to come out of the woodwork, and in the process, you're building relationships with homeowners, and that's how you get more and more listings over time. The more homeowners you know, the more homeowners that know, like, and trust you, the more listings you'll have over time. So systematize that and reach out to Todd or myself, and we can give you more tips or more specific.
Thomas on LinkedIn is a message about this. Be happy to have a one-on-one with you as well to give you some more ideas if you have any questions. I appreciate you guys' time today.
Thanks for that question. That was awesome.
Yeah, love it. All right. Guys, we'll see you next Monday.
All right. Take care.